Hi guys, and welcome to this week's collective reading. Getting straight into it, we've got Cosmic Heart Source showing up reversed. And this leads me to believe that many of us are feeling a bit disconnected in some way or another, because this card is about us feeling connected, right, on a universal level. It reads up here, source of all, true home, just be, and heart connection. And under it, we've got the Seven of Crystals, also reversed, which would be the Seven of Pentacles or Earth for this deck. They call it the crystals. And these coins here are being shown with different chakra symbols etched onto them. So the sevens in tarot are all about a new approach being needed. And in the suit of Pentacles, these crystals, upright, it would be symbolic of reaching a point in your life where you may have acquired what was a goal in the past for you, or you may be on track to acquire this goal, right? And now that you're at this place, there's still this feeling of being incomplete. So upright, this card would come up when it's a time to step back and reevaluate and set new goals. Because sometimes we can become so fixed on our goals that we don't even stop to realize that it's not what we actually want anymore. And the Seven of Crystals would be that moment where you realize this, right? And that you take that moment to pause so that you can create new goals. And like I said, that would be upright, but we're reversed. So there's definitely this disconnection coming through, where things are all topsy-turvy and feeling out of balance, right? And with this visual of our chakras being reversed and just falling out of control here. Reversed, it's like it's trying to tell us that we're kind of in a complete denial in regards to what we think we want, right? And this is what's causing this disconnected feeling to show up, because there is an actual misalignment within you between what you're currently striving towards and wanting to believe that it's right for you. So this is basically, in the reversal, it's this energetic inability to acknowledge that this goal you're working towards isn't what you want, because that would be admitting that the work you've put in thus far is for nothing, right? Which, by the way, that's not true either, because anything you do is never for nothing. But knowing when it's appropriate to push forward to reach our goals versus when it's appropriate to turn away from something and to just realize that it's not what you actually want, both are really important, right? So if you're feeling disconnected and out of alignment at this time, this is definitely a strong sign to reevaluate your current goals, and don't be afraid if that means moving in a different direction from where you thought you were going or what you thought you wanted. Now, currently, Mars is conjunct Neptune in Pisces, or that officially happens tonight, or actually early tomorrow morning. I am definitely not an astrologist. I love looking into these things. I find it fascinating, but I'm definitely not an astrologist and I don't always know the right way to word things. But this Mars conjunction with Neptune in Pisces, that we're currently under the influence of, and it comes to a head tomorrow morning, early. This conjunction really explains a lot of why this is currently rising within you, because Mars brings forward a call to action, right? Mars is the warring planet, but sometimes, well, not sometimes, Mars has as much good qualities as it has negatives. A lot of times we think of Mars as a negative planet in our current kind of how we're raised, but Mars has good qualities, just like everything has like good and bad, or positives and negatives, or just checks and balances to the scale, really. So Mars brings in this call to action in this warlike manner, going to war or at odds with yourself. While Neptune in Pisces is Neptune's home. So there's a lot of comfort with Neptune in Pisces. And Neptune in Pisces would be all about having this deep connection to the spiritual world, right? So Neptune in Pisces is floating in this cosmic womb. So that would be this cosmic heart source energy, complete and total connection. And the reversals are Mars coming in and stirring up anything that challenges this connection, right? So Mars is demanding that we take action at this time, right? It's forcing us to view things from a different perspective, right? These reversals show up so that we can see any blind spots, let's say, right? Any incongruencies to our truth. And it's magnifying it. It's forcing us to face it so that these energies can be brought back into alignment. So even though this conjunction can feel very uncomfortable, its goal is to bring us ultimate peace and connection, right? It's showing up so that this can be put into alignment. So look at how you're currently using your energy, right? And find the spaces in your life where that energy is leaking, right? Or where too much of your energy is being put into something that isn't giving back in the way that you may have originally anticipated, right? Because alignment needs to be brought back in. And this is a call to action to make changes in your life for this alignment to occur. Now, these next two cards, Aquamarine and the High Priestess, they're really here to support you in knowing how to decide what's the right path for you. So with Aquamarine, and I've got this really beautiful piece on the table sharing its energy and wisdom with us. But Aquamarine comes with this message of clarity, tranquility, and youthful vitality. And real quick, I want to get some references or synchronicities out of the way, or not out of the way. Basically, I want to bring them to your attention. But there's this reference to the High Priestess that this Aquamarine card brings up. So this Aquamarine card has a very definite nod to the High Priestess card, because this is the classical depiction of or I shouldn't say classical, it's the most recognizable image of the High Priestess, with the pillars flanking each side. And it doesn't show up in this deck's version of the High Priestess, but having it show up in this Aquamarine card, it's a definite nod here to the High Priestess card. And I just wanted to show you how that's occurring since it's not on this deck's card. But this is a very classical depiction of the High Priestess card. This is just the Rider-Waite-Smith, which is, it tends to be the tarot that most people picture when the tarot is brought up, because it's kind of the most well-known, most used version of the tarot. Now, another synchronicity that wants to be pointed out, I actually had to dig these cards up to show you because it's just so interesting, is that the High Priestess tarot card in general is often connected to Moonstone. And Moonstone often has aquamarine naturally occurring within it. So I don't think the camera picks this up too well. I'm actually going to try and, oh, you can kind of see it, but like right here, that is aquamarine. And then here and here and here. So these blue spots that are showing up in here, it's not the same as these reflections that come up. This is actually aquamarine. So this is not a play of light. This is actual aquamarine. And it's really common for aquamarine to grow in Moonstone. So if you have any Moonstone, rainbow Moonstone specifically, that's what this is, lying around, definitely have a look at your piece and see if you've got any aquamarine showing up in your piece. So I'll actually leave that here so we can see it. And then I had this thought that, well, what card in the tarot? Because this is why I pulled it out, because I knew that the High Priestess usually goes back to Moonstone, and that the Moonstone has a tendency for aquamarine to show up in it. So then just out of curiosity, I wanted to figure out what card does aquamarine usually refer back to, because I wasn't as familiar with that. And a quick Google search, and then that was why I pulled this deck out, because I just wanted to see if it was the same, was basically that aquamarine shows up with the Hanged Man most often. So this quick Google search I did brought up the Hanged Man, and then I just wanted to see if this tarot deck I had that works with crystals had the same correlation, and it does. Just thought it was interesting. So here we got this card of aquamarine back here, and it's connecting to this energy of needing to pause and reevaluate our current situation, right? The Hanged Man's energy. And it's connecting it through the aquamarine to the High Priestess and her inner wisdom, right? So let's talk about these two cards more. But I just wanted to point out these synchronicities because this energy right here is 100% that Hanged Man energy. And I really wanted to talk about all the synchronicities that the cards are bringing in today. Just because I feel it really helps connect to and trust, if that's the right word, the overall message in the cards. I mean, absolutely use your own discernment for yourself. If a reading doesn't feel right to you, don't connect with it. But if it does, do you know what I mean? Like, real magic can start to occur in your life when you listen to the messages and you respond to them. And I personally, I absolutely live for these little nudges from spirit that affirm what's happening in life. Well, I live for a lot more than that, but I love these little nudges. So back to aquamarine. Like the Hanged Man, this crystal allows us to surrender, right? It's an energy that lets you just stop for a moment, right? Whatever grind you're currently in, aquamarine supports your ability to pause and to let your emotions flow through you so that you can start to connect with your truth again, right? Because it's hard to connect when you're caught up in the grind. So this moment to pause and surrender helps bring back in the balance that's fallen out back here, right? Aquamarine comes in with this message that all the answers you seek are floating just beneath the surface of your emotions. And we have the playfulness of the dolphin showing up here at the center of the card. Or actually, it's at the heart center of these two figures on the card. And that's what connects them. This playfulness of the dolphins. So going back to this cosmic heart source and this disconnection that's currently felt, right? Part of knowing if you're on the right track in regards to your goals is whether or not you're able to connect with this playful lightheartedness in your day-to-day life, because this level of joy requires alignment. That's like a huge key to if you're on the right track. And the High Priestess, she really just echoes this message of all the answers you seek are floating just beneath the surface of your emotions, right? She literally shows up when reflection is necessary to help establish goals and discover what's fulfilling for you, right? So that's why the full moon is at the top of this card, basically, because this card works with the energy of the full moon, which is where the moonstone connects to the card. Because the full moon is a time to release and let go and connect, right? So what are we needing to release and let go of in order to bring alignment back so that we can feel connected again? And the answers are within, right? The High Priestess really asks you to listen to your own intuition, right? Or to pay attention to your dreams and the messages they are bringing you. So take time to contemplate. That's really what it comes down to, right? But remember, with the Mars conjunction with Neptune, there's a call to action after these contemplations. So don't just receive the messages on the mental plane, but they need to be grounded down into your reality, right? By changes you are making to the structure of your life. That's why we've got the suit of crystals or pentacles or earth showing up over here. And these changes that you're making, they could be big or they could be small, right? Sometimes it is just minor adjustments that can make a huge difference in our well-being. So it's not necessarily huge changes that need to be made by everyone. It could be. But even with small changes, the shift in your energy will feel big, because sometimes these minor adjustments are all that's keeping us from being spun back into alignment, right? And that's this week's message. I hope it helps in navigating this current energy and that we can all reconnect with our sense of balance as well as move through this. So I am wishing you all the best. Bye, guys.